my attitude towards the stock market and trading and investing has definitely changed. You know, I see it as something that's perfectly achievable. I think within reason, most people could also be doing this. If I had to try and put a single thing that I want people to take away from this thing, you know what, I'll pay a little notice that when it pops up. It is, once you understand that strategy and you know what you're looking at, for me, it was like a light switched on. When I got to that stage in the course, and I thought, that makes a lot of sense, then I opened up TradingView and I started looking, I thought, Jesus Christ, this actually does make a hell of a lot of sense. It just, the clarity for me at that point was when it really switched on. As of Thursday last week, my last check, it was 8.8% turn. Following the strategy, word for word, removing all emotion, just doing the pen strokes of what I've been told. That's what I'm getting. I haven't made a bad decision yet. I'm following what I've been taught, and I do fully believe that I can continue to do this for years to come.
Hi, Pat. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Dave.
Thank you for doing this interview because what I really want to get is people's true opinions about the Think Academy. It's all well and good, me, saying, oh, yeah, it's great, this is what we do, and that, but we need real life reviews and other people who have joined it to kind of tell other people how good it is. Or it might not be, I don't care. But let's go. So tell us a little bit about what you do first, and then we'll start from there. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So I'm originally from the construction industry. I've been in it near enough my entire life, a few little breaks for some other things. Now I focus on acquisitions. I work with a fellow called Graham Eden, and we focus on buying businesses in the engineering sector, specifically within the horizontal directional drilling market. So that keeps me busy.
Very, very niche. So effectively, you're a business owner, higher level, doing multiple different things, which I think is really interesting because we've actually seen most of the people who have joined the academy be business owners, which I didn't actually expect. But I guess the first question then is, what position were you in before you joined the academy? In terms of trading, like you don't necessarily have to share numbers, but has there been any additional confidence, extra consistency, or any kind of, successes so far?
So I have had some experience with trading up until I joined Think Academy. I actually went on a course, Christ, 15 years ago, which focused on the technical analysis, mostly within Forex. I'm sure you already know how that went. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the technical analysis side of things. Very quickly realised that the markets will just ignore my lines. They don't seem to care about what I've drawn or what anyone's drawn, what anyone says. They will do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So that didn't last very long. I moved on, and I'd done the typical thing. I opened a Hargreaves and Lansdown account, and I got an ISA. I chose a fund, and just let it sit there and tick along. Big thing for me was I always knew it could be performing better, and I knew that there must be a way of doing it. But my biggest hurdle was I knew it could be better, but I didn't know how to make it better. So that really sums up my very limited experience up until now.
Right, that's interesting. So, what were you doing before then? How would you look at the market? And then, I guess, if we compare that to how you look at it now, what do you reckon the biggest difference is?
I listened to a lot more noise before. I focused on what others were saying. I focused on what Twitter, or X as it now called, was saying, and I just got enveloped by all the noise that was happening online, which doesn't happen anymore. Now I follow the strategy that we're taught at the Think Academy, and that really does cut out the noise. And what I will say, as well as cutting out the noise from what you're doing, actually, as a result, lowers your stress levels quite significantly as well. Because you can click on two different people who are saying things. They might be successful traders, but they were saying two very different things. And you're sat there thinking, well, now I don't know where I sit. Now I don't know what I should actually be doing. So it's just giving me that level of clarity.
Exactly. It's all about removing that level of doubt. So, would you say that those were your biggest challenges? Listening to all of that noise, and now that you've been able to refine it down into a system that's kind of, I guess, able to cut all that out, that is probably the biggest plus.
Yeah, that is the biggest plus. It really is, the fact that you are able to remove that noise. And also, by following the strategy that you teach, is by just narrowing down what you're looking at. Because for anyone new getting into this and looking at the stock markets, if you was to pull up a list of all the available stocks on your platform, you think, where do I even start? There is so many. So being able to filter that down as well, you can really focus your efforts and your time into the stocks that following the strategy, are worth looking at and require a bit more of your time. It just narrows everything down, makes it, I'm not going to say easy, I hate saying the word easy for anything, just a more focused approach.
It can be made easier, exactly as you say. And I think that clarity is really, really important for me. What was your biggest concern before joining?
My biggest concern was, could I do it? Pure and
Right.
simple. My biggest concern for me is, I'm a man from construction. I can operate just about any type of plant you can think of within reason. I thought, have I got it in me? Is this for the guys in the city? These guys that have been to uni, perhaps they were born into it, which is often the conception that, if you're a stock trader, well, so was your dad. You went to Oxford, and I thought, is it made for people like me? Can a man like me actually do this? And my belief was that I couldn't. That's genuinely where I sat before this.
And now you kind of feel like, well, you do feel that it's much more achievable and you can actually do it.
Absolutely, yeah. My confidence levels have gone up. My attitude towards the stock market and trading and investing has definitely changed. I see it as something that's perfectly achievable. I think within reason, most people could also be doing this.
So when you paid me four figures, how did you feel?
You know what? All right, I have to say, all right. So I've done one course before, and I didn't feel ripped off because I learned some stuff. But I thought, you know what? I made a bad choice. I have done no courses since then, other than the standard things within my industry that I had to do. I haven't paid anyone, certainly not someone online, for a course. But having followed your content on LinkedIn for a little bit, we had a few discussions as well. I knew that this was going to be a good thing to be doing, and I knew having that exposure to the kind of people you have within your community on Discord as well was only going to be a good thing. So I was actually pretty confident going into it.
Perfect. Like that. Really, really like that. And I guess if we're getting really, really specific here, which sort of single element was the most helpful to, your investing and how you see things now?
It's actually really hard to narrow that down, to be fair. If I had to try and put a single thing that I want people to take away from this thing, you know what, I'll pay a little notice that when it pops up. It is the 1 4 10. I really think that is it. Once you understand that strategy and you know what you're looking at, for me it was like a light switched on. When I got to that stage in the course, and I thought that makes a lot of sense, then I opened up TradingView and I started looking. I thought, Jesus Christ, this actually does make a hell of a lot of sense. It just, the clarity for me at that point was when it really switched on, and obviously you get a bit more in depth after that, and it becomes a bit more complex and a little bit more time needed on the studying side. But for me, that was the moment when I really felt like I'd learned a skill for life.
It kind of gives you that understanding of what you actually need to do and what you're looking for at a very, very basic level, right? So, in terms of any results, what have you got so far? It's still early days, I know that. But in terms of any monetary results, what would you say has been an outcome so far?
So my account so far now is trading at an 8% return. Actually, as of Thursday last week, my last check, it was 8.8% return, which when you think about someone you're putting your cash, that's absolutely massive. I'm not convinced you can achieve that any other way. I certainly don't know of another way you can achieve that. So I've gone from being in a position where I was making the occasional good decision to I actually haven't made a bad decision yet. Now I know you're sitting there thinking, just wait, it will come. I know it will come. But following the strategy, word for word, removing all emotion, just doing the pen strokes of what I've been told, that's what I'm getting. I haven't made a bad decision yet.
What time frame's that 8% over?
What is it now? 4 weeks?
A month? Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it is 4 weeks. It is four
And
weeks.
that's without using leverage, without using anything. It's just pure.
Yeah, no, I'm not using any leverage. Obviously, I know that's an option, but that's not something I'm looking at. I like keeping things a little bit more stress-free for myself, particularly at the moment. So that is just literally, I'm on a platform and I'm just investing my money via an ISA, and that's what I'm getting.
What has, apart from the monetary results, but what kind of how has that impacted you to now be able to think and understand that, okay, I do have this skill for life now?
I think especially in what I do, and I suppose a lot of business owners will look at the same, is there will come a time when you step away from your business, you either sell and exit or you retire, whatever that may be, or you're just looking for more mobility on a global level. It makes me realise, well, actually I can accumulate funds through business, through the good things we do, and I can put it to work myself. Like, I have the ability to be within reason anywhere I want to be and do what I want to do, buy back some time by becoming a good investor.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. How has your perception of being able to become a consistently profitable investor or trader, how has that changed? That specific perception of what that looks like and whether it's achievable?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we have touched on it slightly, but I mean, to reiterate, it has given me the confidence and the skill sets know that I can do this. And well, not I can, I am. I'm doing it now. You know, the proof is in the pudding here. You know, I've made a start. I'm following what I've been taught, and I do fully believe that I can continue to do this for years to come, and I plan on doing it. You know, it's gone from being something that interested me to it's actually a part of my routine now. This is a part of my future plan, is to continue to learn, to continue to get better, grow my account obviously so I can do some more impressive things, but you know, it is a genuine part of my future plan now, and it wasn't a year ago, you know, but now it very much is on the list.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone thinking about joining?
I'd say give it a go. I don't think anyone will regret signing up to the Think Academy. Allocate yourself a bit of time, clear your headspace and get stuck into it. And the other thing I suppose which would be really important is making sure you come into this with a genuine open mind. Ignore everything you've heard so far, all that stuff on X, all the stuff on YouTube and Instagram with these Lambo guys with their Rolexes telling you that you'll be a millionaire by Christmas. You know, come into it, just absorb the information, take some notes and put it into practice.
Who would you recommend Think Academy to?
Business owners, I think, is probably where I'd sit because they're people I can relate to the most. I think anyone who's sat there with a business, whatever size, you know you have to prepare for your future. So they're the kind of people that need to really double down on this. Doesn't have to be business owners really. Anyone who has some capital sat there, doesn't have to be huge amounts, but they know they need to secure their future for themselves or their family. This is the perfect place for them to be.
Final question. How would you describe the transformation from where you started to where you are now in just one sentence?
You know what? The thing that's always stuck in my head and the phrase that keeps coming on for me is it was like a light switch banging on. That's the only way I can describe it. It was almost like a eureka moment. You know, that's probably how I describe it if I had to sum it up.
Perfect. Patrick, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate your time.
No problem, David. Speak soon.